Directorial debut. Woo! Woo! So, as some of you might know, Chatard used to have an annual event called the New Play Festival, in which students would write and submit their plays that they made, only one act. But since I came to Chatard, there hasn't really been one. But despite that, I wrote plays anyway, and so here we are. There are a lot of people I would like to thank in the production of the Moneybags Murder. First of all, Mr. Cochran for giving me this opportunity. I'm very grateful for that. Next, Christopher Ward here. I came to him asking for a score for the show, and he wrote one, and it is beautiful. So everyone, please give him a hand. Last of all, I want to thank my cast. They've just been incredible over the course of the last 3 weeks we've been rehearsing this, and they've really brought my vision to life. And 3 weeks isn't a lot of time, so some of the actors up here will be holding a script, but I think their performances will be fun. So one last thing, we have donations available outside if you would like to contribute. Every dollar of it will go to COVID-19 relief. Remember, every dollar counts. So, without further ado, the Moneybags Murder.
Moneybags was found murdered in his private library. How do you plead?
Innocent?
McGrittle, please. Now, for the record, could you please state your name and relationship to Mr. Moneybags?
My name is Johnny A. Fewbags. I work for his company, Alias Industries, making wax figures for museums. I'm under the controversial Civil War Generals Division.
And how well are you acquainted with your boss?
Not particularly well. We chatted a few times, mainly in performance reviews. He used to say I reminded him of a younger him.
Aha! So you killed him so you could assume his identity! That sounds like a confession to me! McGrittle, please! Now, are you aware, Mr. Fewbags, that Mr. Moneybags said in his will that you would inherit his company in the event of his death?
Wait, seriously?
Yes. So, certainly you must realize your implications in the matter of his murder. Now, where exactly were you between the hours of 9 and 10?
What? Oh, last night I was at my coworker's house, Roger Ackroyd. Can tell you I never left the place.
Thank you, Mr. Fewbags. No further questions. All right, let's book him. McGrittle! That's enough. What? I was just trying to scare the guy. Isn't that what you're supposed to do to make them confess? Listen, McGrittle, you are going to have to start taking this job a lot more seriously if you plan on keeping it. Well, it'd be a lot easier to take it seriously if you let me be in charge of a case once in a while. Come on, let me solve the Moneybags murder.
Should I leave?
Even if I wanted to give our most high-profile case to a rookie like you, I couldn't. It says specifically in Moneybags' will, in the event that I am murdered, which is incredibly likely, I will let the case to be solved by none other than Detective Alfred S. Merdur. Merdur, whoever that is.
You don't know Alfred S. Merdur?
No. Do you?
He's a legend! They say he's the greatest detective the world's ever seen since Encyclopedia Brown. A few years back, he solved the murder at the Panda Express. Who would have guessed it was the butler? There wasn't even a butler involved in the case. I once heard that he solved the murder on Boulevard Way in 8 minutes flat. Man, would I do to meet that guy in real life.
You can leave anytime you want, Mr. Fewbags. Fine. If you really want to, I'll let you tag along with this Merdur guy. Maybe he'll teach you a thing or two about being a real detective. You won't regret it.
There was a murder here, a most foul murder indeed. Yesterday this man was stabbed like a quinoa.
Yeah, there's a dead body.
Who are you and why should I acknowledge it?
Oh, I'm Maralynda McGrittle. I was assigned to help you on this case. It's so nice to meet you.
Are you aware of who I am?
I am
Alfred S. Merdur. With the judgment of Perrault, the mind of Sherlock, and the wit of Colombo, I have built my career with nothing but pure skill and a reputation. I, the greatest detective in the world, have crawled and scratched my way from the bottom of the barrel of poverty, squalor, crippling despair, and loneliness to reach the absolute pinnacle of the human mind.
You okay there, bud?
Yes, I suppose having a partner could be useful. Please, give me the information of the case.
Last night at 9:47, the station got a call from local jobless nobody, Jeffley Cant, saying he was outside the Moneybags mansion.
Officer, I'm here, screaming sound again. No, it's not coming from my psyche again. It's coming from the Moneybags mansion. You're welcome.
10 minutes later, the chief of police arrived at the mansion. Moneybags' wife, Deborah, had arrived at the house only moments before from shopping at Harry's supermarket.
What are you doing in my house?
Together, they found the body in a pool of blood in the library, obviously stabbed. The weapon was never found. As more police arrived, Ashley Cheerin, president and sole human member of the Jonathan A. Moneybags fan club, was found outside hiding in a bush in the backyard of the mansion. She's being held for questioning.
What are the details of the will?
Moneybags' company, Alias Industries, was left to a man named Johnny A. Fewbags. He has an airtight alibi, but I don't trust him.
Continuing.
All right. Moneybags' entire fortune was left to an old friend of his named Lawrence L. Willington, who lives out of town.
He left nothing for his own wife.
I guess not. Sounds suspicious.
It is a point of interest. However, second things first. I shall speak to Miss Cheerin.
You mean,
We should speak to Miss Cheerin.
Maralynda, was it? Well, listen, everybody knows a detective's assistant is supposed to sit there, quiet and ignorant, and occasionally say some stupid theory that's clearly misleading. Oh, and if they ever write a book about the case, you'll probably be the narrator.
Hey, I can make contributions too. Who knows? Maybe I'll solve the case before you do.
Right, that could theoretically, potentially, within the bounds of imagination, hypothetically. So, Miss Cheerin, I believe you know why we're here today.
Guilty!
Perhaps. Now, Miss Cheerin, why were you outside of Moneybags Mansion last night?
Oh, I go out there every weekend.
Why?
To watch him. To watch him die!
Let's move on. Miss Cheerin, why do you have such an asphyxiation with Moneybags?
Oh, Jonathan is a wonderful man. He's so good and kind and powerful and oh so handsome. You see, I was in an Olive Garden checking out some pretzels I brought from home when Jonathan tripped over the table like a long story short, I've been running his fan club ever since.
Right. Miss Cheerin, what do you remember from the night of the Merdur?
Well, there's not much to say. I went to my usual spine bush, the third one on the left, and I couldn't really tell if he was home or not. It was so quiet. Anyway, I was there about an hour. I got so lost in my Moneybags Munchies cookbook, I didn't even know the police had arrived.
Right, and you don't seem particularly broken up by your idol's murder.
Oh, he's not dead. I'm in denial.
Thank you, Miss Cheerin. No further questions. Yes, Maralynda would like to ask her fair questions too.
Thank you. Why? No further questions.
So, I'm sure you noticed our second clue.
Of course I did. Why? Wait, what was the first clue?
I found this handkerchief with Alias Industries logo written on it. Handkerchiefs are either the most important part of a murder case or the biggest waste of time imaginable. But no matter, about that second clue.
Right. Ashley Cheerin said that the house was quiet, while Jeffley Cant called the police saying that he heard a scream. That means Ashley was lying.
Or Jeffley was lying. Never jump to conclusions, Maralynda.
Well, whoever it was, I still say it was Fewbags. But anyway, we should probably interview Jeffley Cant just to clear the contradiction.
Actually, I think a better idea.
So, how's the Moneybags case going? Great, actually. Al here was just telling me how great of help I've been.
Don't call me Al.
Well, that's great. Mr. Merdur, I certainly hope McGrittle's excitability at interrogations hasn't inhibited you in any way. It hasn't! In fact, we were just talking how I should handle the next interrogation by myself. Really?
Really? I mean, yes, Maralynda has shown great progress in a way like that, yes.
Oh? Well, I'm glad. And McGrittle, yes, I really hope you do succeed.
What was all that about?
Never mind that. I'm sorry I said I'd take the next interrogation solo.
No, it was actually a good idea. If we split up for the next two suspects, we can save time. And time is precious. I shall forgo the journey to Lawrence and Willington, while you can stay here and interview Mr. Cant.
You think I'm ready to interrogate a suspect all by myself?
A suspect is a strong word. Jeffley Cant barely qualifies as a bystander. An imbecile can get the necessary information out of him.
Thanks.
Good luck, and take heed in your efforts. And remember my classic catchphrase, never, always, make your efforts effortless. As Michael Wigglesworth once said, don't quote me on that.
So you're Jeffley Cant.
What? Howdy?
Okay. Why were you outside the mansion the night of the murder?
Oh, that's just what I do. I travel from town to town, sleep outside the biggest mansion I can find. I feast on any caviar scraps they throw out. The bigger the mansion, the bigger Cheeto pies.
And how long have you been in town for?
I bought a ride into town 2 square roots of a fortnight ago.
Right. Tell me about the screams you heard.
I've heard a lot of screams in my day, girlie. You're gonna have to specify.
The screams outside the mansion 2 nights ago?
Oh, don't scream. Hold on. It was a dog. Crispy. Crispy. I had just finished some 3-day-old donuts when the evil clone that lived in my meal popped up to go spookify me. You know, sometimes I think a lot of people look like me. That Moneybags and fellow, for instance, looks like a version of me who didn't throw out his mama's favorite beanbag cheddar.
The screams?
Oh, don't scream. I heard it out from the mansion. I called the police from the payphone. I sometimes draw funny faces on down yonder.
Thank you. No further. Wait, actually, do you know a Johnny A. Fewbags?
Oh, yeah. The fellow works at the wax company Moneybags Industries. Real nice guy. Nice and innocent type. I can never do nothing wrong. Especially not murder.
Thank you, Mr. Cant. No further questions.
You're welcome, Miss McMuffin. You know, this reminds me of a song. My name of Jeffley, I can't. My mind is moving at a slant. Rooting in garbage is a form of art. With a smile on my face and a song in my heart. Everybody, I go by the name of.
And so, for breakfast, I ordered the sausages with scrambled eggs and bacon. However, when the waitress brought it to me, she had the eggs sunny side up. And so I said, "Yolks on you. I wanted sunny side up the whole time." And so after they escorted me off the premises, I went to the neighboring breakfast.
When I asked you how your trip went, I really just wanted to know about the case.
Well, I'm sorry. I certainly thought it was interesting. But no matter. What did you learn from Mr. Cummins?
Not much except a new song.
Oh, how did it go?
What? Never mind the song! The point is, he just reiterated the same information he said on the phone. He heard a scream come from the Moneybags mansion.
Did he seem to be lying?
I don't know. When I interrogate people, I just assume everything they say is a lie.
Maralynda, it's important to remember that everyone has a tell. Lawrence L. Willington, for example, had every tell imaginable.
What did he tell you?
When he told me it wasn't very important, it was how he said it. When I said I was a detective, he suddenly became very accommodating.
A detective? Wow, you certainly don't see one of those every day. I just finished an Agatha Christie novel the other day, and it was a real treat. So anyways, come in. Would you like some iced tea? Heck, I even have some scrambled eggs left over from breakfast if you're hungry.
We went over the usual questions.
No, we hadn't really talked in a while. Yes, I was surprised I inherited all this fortune. No, I don't really know what I'm going to do with all that money yet. Oh, how's Deborah holding out, by the way? I haven't seen her in a really long time. Would I look good in a sailor uniform? Etc., etc.
When I said I was a detective, he suddenly became... When I asked where he was on the night of the murder, his answer was interesting.
Where was I? Was that like 2 nights ago? Let me see. Oh, shopping. Yeah, late night shopping. I do that sometime. Oh, what did I buy? Food and stuff. Oh, but I never keep any of my receipts, so I guess you're just gonna have to take my word on it. I love Jonathan like a brother.
It's totally him, right?
Not necessarily. Lawrence L. Willington is a spineless cat who couldn't kill a spider in the bows of a tugboat. No, I don't think it was him. Although he is definitely hiding something.
Great! Another complication. Why can't we go up to Johnny A. Fewbags and say, "Are you the murderer?" And he says, "Yep, that was me." I just really want to go to the police chief and tell her who it was so I can finally get some real recognition around here.
What's the deal between you and the chief anyway? The last time you two conversed, you could have come to tension with a jackhammer.
It's complicated. I just want her to give me some responsibilities, but she just won't give them to me.
You know, you don't have to stand for this kind of treatment. You could always transfer to a new precinct, or better yet, take bloody revenge by filing complaints. That'll teach her.
She's my mom.
Oh! That's probably the biggest twist in this whole mystery.
And I really want her to take me seriously. I don't want her to see me as some little kid in a Halloween police uniform. But that's just not easy, especially since I wore that costume 23 Halloweens in a row.
I suppose I can't relate. In fact, I seem to have the opposite problem. Whenever someone talks to me, they see me for my profession and nothing else. But whenever I try to talk about anything else, well, when you're an expert in schemes and lies, it's easy to tell when someone feigns interest.
So what happened after you had breakfast?
You really want to know, don't you?
I do.
Well, after breakfast, I went to a neighboring furniture store, just to browse, of course. I asked him how to get a strong, and said he showed me the shiver. Deborah Moneybags.
It's pronounced Deborah.
Right. So, Miss Deborah, where were you on the night of the murder?
You almost certainly already know the answer to that, but I'll humor you. I was out shopping at Harry's Herring Supermarket. I arrived home only minutes before the police showed up.
Right. And do you know a Lawrence L. Willington?
My late husband mentioned him, yes. I never met the man myself.
Yes, he knew the correct pronunciation of your name.
What's that supposed to mean?
Are you sure you've never met him? He acted like he knew you personally.
Are you suggesting that I'm a liar?
I just find it interesting that both you and Willington went out shopping at an unnamed store at the same time at the same hour.
That is a receipt for my purchases that night at the supermarket. You will see that I bought it with my own credit card, just a half hour before the body was found. I was a Girl Scout when I was young and class president every year from 6th grade through senior year. I was employee of the month every month of my first 3 jobs, except for April 2004. I once pretended I read the book at a book club meeting. 3 of the club members died within the week. I don't lie, Mr. Merdur, and that jacket does not look good on you.
Right, I see. So my apologies, Miss Moneybags.
It's Miss Terry now.
Right. Goodbye, Miss Terry.
Did you love him?
What?
Jonathan A. Moneybags, did you really love him?
I don't see how that's relevant.
Well, I think you should answer the question.
McGrittle, please, I think
Let her answer. Did you love him? Did you really love him?
No. Is that what you wanted to hear? No. Of course I only married him for his money, and he knew it too. That man was mad, making masks from his own company's wax just for his own amusement. It was ridiculous. Of course I only married him for his money, and I would have killed him if I get anything out of it. No. If anything, I'd kill that darn Willington, and my husband after him. So there. You got the answer you wanted. Now what?
No further questions.
So, here we are, 2 detectives back at the scene of the crime, discussing 5 potential suspects. The bitter wife, the nervous heir, the crazed fan, the employee with potential, the old cute, and the butler!
We never talked to a butler.
There's always a butler! So, do you have any theories as to who did it?
Why? Do you not have a theory?
I don't have theories, I have facts. So, who do you think it was?
I think it's Deborah Moneybags.
Really? You no longer believe it to be Mr. Fewbags.
I still think it's him. But, this Deborah theory is making slightly more sense.
Very well, continue.
My theory is that Deborah Moneybags must have fully believed her husband would leave his entire fortune completely to her. Otherwise, why would she stay married to him? So, she hired an old friend, Lawrence L. Willington. She figured that since Moneybags hadn't been in contact with him in so long, he would never be associated with the case. So, she gave him her credit card and instructions to go buy some things from Harry's Herring supermarket at a specific time so that she could have an alibi.
Here's the stuff.
Great. Now get out of here.
Wait, why did you want me to do this?
Don't worry about it. They're out.
What he didn't realize was that she likely killed Moneybags only minutes before and hid the knife. Her plan was likely to go upstairs pretending to have just arrived home and discover the body in the library and contact the police.
Oh, help! Please help! My husband has been murdered!
And that is why she also hired Ashley Cheerin. She paid her to wait outside the mansion and pretend she didn't hear any screams. That would make the police think that the murder happened at an earlier time than when it actually took place, a time when she supposedly would have been shopping.
You know your job, right?
Of course. When do I get to meet Jonathan?
Soon, sweetie. Very soon.
Only two things went wrong. The first was Jeffley I Cant.
I want it over with my pickup truck.
He heard Moneybags' screams and immediately called the authorities. The second problem was Moneybags' will. It gave all of the money to Willington, leading the authorities right to him, and he gave it away with all of his tells. And that is how it's done.
Impressive. Somehow everything you said fits ingeniously well together. However, there's still one major flaw. You are entirely wrong.
Okay. I don't mean to be rude, but can you not?
Maralynda, listen and know that what I'm about to tell you is what truly happened on the night of the murder.
Fine. I'm listening.
Maralynda, for his entire investigation, you were operating under the assumption that Jonathan A. Moneybags was dead. But what if I told you that wasn't the case at all?
Nuh-uh. No, you are wrong. That's just not right.
And why not? Remember the fifth thing I told you. Never jump to conclusions. Moneybags had immense wealth to pay off any doctors who would investigate his body, and a large supply of wax from Alias Industries in order to create a false one. And the body, I believe, was recently cremated, leaving behind no evidence.
Wait. If Moneybags is still alive, does that mean he's pretending to be someone else?
Someone, several people, half are suspects. It's all the same. Yes, you have met Moneybags several times and didn't even realize it. So, it was not a case of murder, but sabotage!
But how?
Let's start at the beginning and look at the motive. Moneybags had a wife who clearly wished him dead. Knowing this, and wanting to believe their limelight of being such a renowned quadrillionaire, he decided to kill two birds with one stone and frame his wife for his own murder. And so, nearly everything in place. Moneybags has ensured that his body will be found at a specific time, his wife will undoubtedly be implicated, and he gets to keep his entire fortune. However, there's still the matter of the company. He wants to keep his business just as much as he wants to keep his company. And so he creates a third disguise, Johnny A. Fewbags.
I knew it!
Yes, I suspect the alias of Fewbags was created a long time ago as a way to spy on his employees. And so, with everything in place, Moneybags dons his Fewbags disguise and goes to his co-worker, Roger Ackroyd's house, as a solid alibi. He only steps away for a minute, 9:47 to be precise, in order to make a call.
Officer, I'm hearing a screaming sound again.
Of course, That was Jeffley I. Cant, but he imitated his
Excuse me, sorry. Jack, it's not your fault. I'm sorry. We would like to go back a little bit just so you all can get the full experience of the reveal. Thank you.
Let's start at the beginning and look at the motive. Moneybags had a wife who only married him for the money. She clearly wished him dead. Knowing this, and wanting to leave the limelight of being such a renowned quadrillionaire, Moneybags decided to kill his two stones with one bird and frame his wife for his own murder. And so, he set his plan in motion. He planted a fake body in the library at some point after his wife left the shop. And so he concocted the most brilliant of all his various disguises. Jeffley I. Cant.
I'm secretly a genius quadrillionaire.
He created a disguise solely to color his board screams that didn't exist at all.
Sounds like screams to me.
This was set a specific time for the murder, soon before Deborah came home. However, only one thing was wrong. He didn't account for Ashley Cheerin, or anyone for that matter, being near enough to the mansion to hear screams.
Wow, how's it so quiet tonight?
But regardless, Moneybags moved on to his second disguise, Lawrence L. Willington.
What? Me? No.
Willington's purpose was specifically to cast doubt on Deborah's alibi, by implying that he knew her and that he may have aided her in some way. This, combined with Deborah's claims of never having met him, would all but confirm their allegiance.
Wait, so if Willington and Moneybags are the same person, does that mean Moneybags inherited his own fortune?
Correct. And so, nearly everything is in place. Moneybags is assured that the body will be found at a specific time, his wife will undoubtedly be implicated, and he can keep his entire fortune. But there's still the matter of the company. Moneybags wants to keep his business just as much as he wants to keep his fortune. So he creates a third disguise, Johnny A. Fewbags.
I still knew it!
Yes, I suspect the alias of Fewbags was created long ago as a way to spy on his employees. So with everything in place, Moneybags moves on to his Fewbags disguise and goes on to his co-worker, Roger Ackroyd's house, as a solid alibi. He only steps away for a minute, 9:47 to be precise, in order to make a call.
Officer, I'm hearing the screaming sound again.
And that is the true answer to the Moneybags Murder!
It is impossible and ridiculously complicated. But somehow it all makes sense. Tell me, how did you figure it out?
You are of course familiar with the word alias. It's a Latin word meaning otherwise. More commonly, is another word for a false name. And so, Moneybags spelled out the word itself in order to create his aliases. Let's see. Jonathan A. Moneybags concocts his brilliant scheme in order to fake his death. Lawrence L. Willington inherits his own fortune. Jeffley I. Cant ensures that the body is found. And Johnny A. Fewbags inherits his company. And, of course, Alfred S. Merdur is specifically requested to solve the murder.
Wait, what are you saying?
Yes, Maralynda, it's me.
Shut up.
You're surprised? I really thought the handkerchief would give it all away.
But your trip to see Willington,
You mean the trip I happened to take as you were interviewing my other persona, Jeffley? Yes, that was a very memorable trip indeed.
but why are you telling me all this? Are you going to kill me?
What? No! Gross.
Then why would you let me know all of this?
Because, Maralynda, you were able to become someone that my wife, Deborah, Ashley Cheerin, Roger Ackroyd, Steve the mailman, and even that waiter from the Panda Express could never be. You became my friend. You were able to see me as more than a man of business. I reasoned that if you were willing to accept the real me, then
it only makes sense to show you who that really is. And so, I suppose what comes next is up to you.
Up to me?
You know my secret. Now you may do what you wish with it. You may tell the chief whatever you wish about the solution to the case. I will give you full credit for solving it. It's 9-0. No matter how much trouble it gets me into.
The case is in your hands.
Well, Mr. Merdur, have you come up with a solution yet?
Oh, I can say with absolute certainty this case has me completely bamboozled. Although, Maralynda here does seem to have quite a theory.
All right, let's hear it, McGrittle. Who is behind the Moneybags murder?
There was a murder here. A most foul murder indeed.